Welcome back to the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Chris Kellum, with my constant co-host,
Tyler Y'all.
And this week we bring on a fan favorite, and personally one of my favorites, the amazing...
We're Boombalattis. So I'm half of the ownership group, Wes Bechtel.
And I'm Kristen Bechtel, also his wife.
Yep. Partners and everything.
Nice. It's like half of the ownership group.
Half of the ownership group.
Right.
So I can't make any full decisions on my own. I have to check with my business partner.
He likes to remind himself that.
Yeah, it's probably safer that way, too.
Keep him in line.
If anything goes wrong, it's her fault. Or my fault. 50-50, I guess.
Right.
I feel like she would blame you, though.
Wow, we just only met, and you've got my number, I guess.
He's a good judge of character.
Yeah.
We both have wives.
So for those who don't know who you are, could you tell them?
Yeah, so...
Or like what Boombalattis is, I guess.
So Boombalattis is an experience. Yeah, so we're an ice cream brand here in Wilmington. We have 3 ice cream shops, one on Military Cutoff where we make ice cream. All of our ice cream is homemade. We opened a second shop in 2018, downtown Wilmington in the Bad District, Brooklyn Arts. 2020 we opened our third in Hampstead, and now next year we're getting ready to launch number 4 in Carolina Beach.
So my wife has been asking for months to bring you guys on, too. But she does have one grievance, though.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, geez.
We'll get it out early.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So to get it out of the way. And the one grievance is there's not one in Leland yet. So that's
Just
it.
had a guy come in the shop yesterday. He was like majorly hassling us, like to get over there. He was like, if you need an investor, if you need this, like, come on, let's go. What are you waiting for?
You left and there was just a suitcase of cash on the floor.
Yeah.
But I will say we just very recently bought this new vehicle that kind of fell in our laps, and it's a brand new Schwann's truck.
Oh.
And then Schwann's went bankrupt, and we bought it for almost nothing. Freezer has never been turned on.
I don't know how old you guys are. You may not even know what Schwann's is.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm from the South. I've seen the Schwann's truck drive
Okay, yeah.
past.
Right.
So there's a lot of yellow trucks driving around right now. Yes. But that gives us the ability to deliver ice cream further than we have been.
Ah.
So that basically puts Leland out as a possibility.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
for
good.
sure. But
So
yeah, we are
on our radar.
opening Carolina Beach in the spring. So right now that's the main priority to get that one staffed, which, as you know, staffing is not the easiest thing in the world.
No.
So I'm a little stressed about that.
The
Yeah,
good
but,
thing, though, is having the one in the Brooklyn Arts District, being in Leland, it's super easy to just cruise right on over that bridge and stop on by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Castle Hayne. I show up right at close on a very regular basis.
Oh, they love you for that, I'm sure.
Right.
Should. See, but we just order like the pre-made pints. Like I'm not just going to take scoops. I'm like, oh, hey, this is the perfect size. I take it home. I'm not here to make a mess as much as possible.
Well, we're really stoked about all the new branded pints. We actually had Creature Theory help us with those, and now that they're all branded and we can get them with the new truck so quickly to all the shops, I love how many more pints we're selling, you know.
Yes.
Got to
they
have
look cute.
Boombalattis in the freezer at all times.
Do that.
I was going to ask that like later on, but I'll ask you now. When do you decide to just go ahead and brand a pint?
That's a good question.
So it is a good question. I mean, we run into minimums now. So like basically if we get a flavor made, we need 3,000 pints. And we just made some insane decisions and like branded maple walnut. You have any idea how long it's going to take to sell 3,000 maple walnut pints? But it looks beautiful.
Which, no shade to maple walnut. Maple walnut's delicious, but definitely nobody's buying that before they're buying Christmas tree cake, you know. So
Or chocolate fudge brownie.
right.
So
My
part of
wife's favorite.
So our daughter's too, so that's
Great
why
favorite.
it's blue. She picked the color.
Oh, nice. That's
Did they
cool.
change the color on that one?
No, we
Or am I
hadn't
just-
had chocolate fudge brownie pinted before.
That's why.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of an interesting thing. Like the reason we didn't have chocolate brownie before is because we were switching up the recipe for the brownies. And as soon as we have the pints made, we have to list the ingredients. So that's part of the thought too. Like we really need to have it dialed down because if we make 3,000 pints that say we have this ingredient in it and then we change our minds, either we got to buy 3,000 stickers or.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Okay.
So.
I believe that.
But as soon as we get this every time we get a new delivery, they look so good that my mind immediately is what
else can we make?
Yeah. So chocolate peanut butter, pumpkin spice, they're probably going to be next.
Nice.
Do that.
So I want to take a step back a little bit since we jumped straight into the ice cream because we let Chris start talking about. But where did the love of ice cream come from, and what was the impetus to be like, you know what, we're opening up our own ice cream shop?
Well, that started with Wes. You can tell him you're part of that, and then I'll jump in.
So for me, it's nostalgia. Like, it is my favorite food. It continues to be my favorite food. My family always had 2 half-gallons in the fridge, like no matter what. Breyers or Edie's. Every single night I was eating ice cream. There was a shop that we would go to all the time. So I have all these ice cream memories. And then I got into cooking in college, Food Network, Good Eats specifically. And there was an episode on ice cream. And it was the first Good Eats episode where I didn't know I could do it. So, like, you can tell me you can make a better cheeseburger, but, like, I know I can make a cheeseburger. But he was like, all right, here's how to make ice cream at home. And it just blew my mind. I was like, wait, I can make this? So I just started making it for fun for years, for a decade.
Yeah, we would take it, like, to people's birthday, or if we had Thanksgiving at our house, he would make vanilla ice cream for that. And then we were like, wow, this has really become, like, a thing, and everybody's asking us to bring it places and telling us we should sell it, and on and on. So we decided we were going to try to sell it at the farmer's market in downtown Wilmington. But it turns out that's way more difficult than you would think. You have to have a kitchen inspected, and you can't make it at home, and it's dairy and all these rules. So we're like, we don't know if that's really worth it. Then we thought we might open our own shop down in the Brooklyn Arts District, because that was when that area had just started, like, becoming the, like, cool it spot. And we always loved going downtown. But our kids were little. Our kids were 3 and 6. Yeah. They were little. He had a full-time job that had benefits, insurance, which unfortunately when you own a small business is not something that, comes right with the territory. You have to kind of build up to that. So we kept going back and forth, like, what are we going to do? And then Boombalattis fell into our lap, basically.
Yeah, so it did exist. Like, a husband and wife started it in 1999.
Oh,
okay.
They were making homemade ice cream. They were using grass-fed dairy, but they were not known for having good service. They were very nice to us. They when we bought it, they stayed on for 10 days. That was our entire training, was 10 days.
Wow.
And we had no idea what the hell we were doing. Like, zero idea.
Even the owner told me, he was like, you were going to get people for years telling you that I am what the soup Nazi was to Seinfeld. I am the ice cream Nazi. And it was true. For years, people would be like, what happened to that guy? And I'd be like, here it comes. He was the ice cream Nazi. I'm like, so if that's what you have to compare yourself, like, all we have to do is be better than the ice cream Nazi.
Yeah, be nice. We just have to be nice.
Right.
So we did. So we bought the existing business, but then changed literally everything. Recipes.
What was it called?
It was still Boombalattis.
Okay.
So wait, when did you buy it?
2015. So we're in year 9.
Okay.
So they only had the one shop.
So I do remember the original owners.
I was going to say, I wonder if you guys have been around Wilmington for long enough.
Only 30.
Yeah.
35 years.
Oh, you're born and raised?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was funny because we would have people come in. It really stopped. It took like 3.5 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But people would come in and be like, where's Kevin? He's like my best friend. And I'd be like, your best friend, huh? Because he got a new job 3.5 years ago.
Where have you been?
Told you. Like, or like we would scoop and they'd be like, where's the owner? It's like,
right here.
Hello, right here. No, the guy with the ponytail. Like, he doesn't own it anymore.
Yes.
But yeah, so we ultimately we had decided that we didn't really want to go into debt and open something of ourselves downtown, not knowing, like, what we were going to do if something happened to one of our kids or whatnot. And so Boombalattis ends up being for sale. I actually didn't tell Wes for months after I knew, because I'm like, I know if I tell him that it's for sale, he's going to say we should buy it. And I did not want to buy an ice cream shop. But then I started thinking, well, if someone else tells him, or,
somebody else buys it.
Yeah, if someone sweeps it out from underneath us, I'm going to regret it, because I was hating my job. I was a paralegal at the time, and I'd been doing that for 15 years, and I hated it. And he was like, I think he was trying to get himself fired, honestly, at the time.
You cannot get yourself fired at Verizon.
Yeah, it didn't work.
So hard. You can watch entire series of television, not seasons, but series.
In the bathroom. Like I call him, he's like, I'm watching Breaking Bad or something.
My legs are numb, but I only got 2 more episodes.
Like he hated that job. So anyway, I told him, and he was like, well, we got to go talk to somebody. We should buy it. I'm like, oh God. So we did. We bought it. And we always joke, like our first employee was our babysitter. And the one day she came up in the back and she was like asking us something about, we had soft serve at the beginning. And we're like, she's like, well, what do I do? We're like, we have no idea.
We don't know how to wild. We didn't know how to do anything.
We didn't know what we were doing.
The amount of stuff I know how, like, I'm like practically a plumber at this point in my life, or like half an electrician, just because you're like, well, I guess I got to go like figure out how toilets work.
Right.
Yeah. So we didn't know what we were doing. We had made ice cream at home, like ice cream, like a quart.
Yeah, like a
now we're making like what
thousands of gallons.
I mean,
jeez.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning curve, but it's been really fun and also really stressful.
Yes,
but really fun.
Yeah,
and delicious.
Mostly fun.
So delicious.
So, your first employee, do they still work there?
They don't, because they were 16 at the time.
Okay.
They worked all through high school. Then we hired all of her friends. Then we hired all of her friends and her siblings. Then we hired their cousins. We like went through like whole families. Then awesome. She went to college, still worked for us. Grad school, first year grad school, she still worked for me off and on.
Yeah.
And now she's graduated.
Okay.
She's going to be an orthodontist.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we had an employee that came in the first week because we didn't even have an application yet. She came in to fill out an application, and there's a learning experience. I was like, oh, we should have an application.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just interview you now. And we hired her, and she's our director of production. So she's been with us for 9 years. She oversees all production for all 3 shops.
Yeah, she's amazing. So she started when she was 16. She's like, what,
9 years older.
24 now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it kind of goes out to show like how good of like leaders that you guys are to keep people for that long, because I know for a fact a lot of area around here, like they can't keep someone from basically inception until now and then move them up and have the success that you guys have had in order to move them up to keep them. So like that's a huge testament. Yeah,
that was one of the huge things when we bought this business. Like I made Wes promise that we weren't going to not hire enough employees and run ourselves ragged.
Right.
And then start getting on each other's nerves. Because, like, we had little kids at the time. 3 and 6 is little. And we didn't want to miss, like, their whole, young life because we were constantly at work. Now, those first couple summers, we were constantly at work. They joke, like, all they remember is eating ice cream and watching an iPad in the back of the shop. We're like,
at 10 at night as, like, 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's not good for parenting.
Like, whole seasons of Dora and whatever else. But anyway.
Coming up, like, waddling up front. Like, the Dora isn't, like, you got to give us a second. Right. There's 30 people in line.
Yeah, but so we knew we wanted to hire a staff that, and we wanted them to stay with us for the long term, which is hard in this type of business. This is what we talk about all the time. Like, it's difficult to keep people in this industry with you long term who this isn't just like a fill-in job or they're going to school and they're going to leave and go work somewhere else. So we try really hard to treat them well and give them benefits, paid time off, all that stuff, so that they'll, hopefully want to stick around.
So people get PTO at an ice cream shop?
Yeah, so we have, besides the 2 of us who are technically full-time, we have 6 other full-time employees. They all, if they want to, can participate in 401k. We have a company match. We have health, dental, and vision insurance. 3 weeks paid time off.
And mental health insurance.
That's part of, mental health insurance, which is important.
Yeah.
Very important. And I feel like one other thing. But, yeah, so and part of that was Sydney, our director of production, when she hit whatever it was, 24 or 25, she dropped off her parents' insurance. So for us to keep her, it was like, oh, shoot, I guess we need to get insurance. And we hadn't had insurance that whole time.
No, we just been crossing our fingers.
Right.
Yeah, so just, what do we need to continue to do to get people to not think that ice cream is just this summer job that you do and then leave? And we have a ton of that. I mean, that's the bulk of our employees.
Right.
Well, right.
But if you show promise and you want to work in the service industry, like, let's go.
Yeah. And that's one of the other ways that I know you guys is because I knew Sydney when she was a kid. We went to the same church.
Oh, that's funny.
And so my sister is always like, oh my gosh, did you see what Sydney did? Did you see this? Or anytime there's a new flavor drop, she takes her kids to go.
Right.
And so I see the new flavors and I'm like, do I need to try this one?
Of course you do.
Yes.
You need to try all of them.
Support small businesses.
Right.
I don't have any more room in my freezer currently.
That's funny.
It is winter time, so we have less than we usually do.
Right.
But quite literally, there was a point where we had 8 pints.
Oh my God. It's more than we have in our freezer.
Yeah,
but it was like, oh, hey, let's try this new flavor, or let's have this.
Right.
And then I didn't know if the chocolate fudge brownie is going to be around forever, so then I had to like make sure my wife was set up, and I got like 4 just in case.
That's
I'm the good
awesome.
husband in some cases.
So we should. I don't think we ever said that chocolate fudge brownie was permanent. So you should continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
everyone.
Right.
But I saw that earlier, and I was like, I knew something was different.
Yeah.
It's because I remember the handwritten.
Yep.
Yes.
And now you have an official, and it's like, okay.
Right.
I don't have to worry as much.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have 3,000 of those to get through. Now,
Yes.
again, easier than
Than
maple
maple.
walnut. I'm trying to think of which other ones. It's like, oof, it's going to be a while. Coconut cream.
Coconut cream is underrated. It's so good.
Yeah.
It does sound good. I don't think I've had that one yet.
Yeah.
It's
That's
pretty
really good in like cold brew coffee shake.
Ooh, it does sound good.
Yeah.
So talking about being amazing business owners, conceptual people itself, like how do you come up with some of these? Do you have a group that helps you with like your marketing, and how do you come up with the new flavors for each season?
Oh, the new flavors is always fun.
Tell us about the new flavors.
Well, I always joke with people that when you own a business and you can't sleep, it's always like thinking about what I'm going to make what dessert I've had that I'm going to make into ice cream next. So anytime we go somewhere and have a dessert that's really delicious, or even something that's not a dessert, something like, you know, some sort of a cheese dish or something, whatever, that might have savory and sweet properties, we're like, ooh, we made this into an ice cream, which, I mean, if anybody that's listening bought an advent calendar, there's some of these fun flavors worked in there.
Yeah, and now you're already a bunch of days in by the time this comes out.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
you
So
will be.
tell us what you thought of the brie and
Pepper jelly.
Pepper jelly.
Yeah, so we just did an
Interesting.
advent
Ooh.
calendar, and we did brie and pepper jelly. We did a cornucopia one that's like a rosemary, orange peel. We soaked the cream in the herbs, and then we put a corn cookie in it. So it's like a cornbread meets a cookie.
Oh, wow.
And that one flavor basically was because all the cool shops now are doing their Thanksgiving dinner in a burrito or sandwich or
yeah.
whatever. And that was our way of being like, okay, how do we make this like
Incorporate it.
sage, rosemary, you know,
Right.
we can't put turkey and stuffing in an ice cream. I mean, we
Right.
could.
I mean, you
but-
could, but
So that's how that one came out. And then, like right now, we have sweet potato casserole. Or we do a whole Thanksgiving dessert series where you
Yes.
think about like what are the best Thanksgiving desserts, and then how do you take each one of those and turn them into ice cream.
right.
So that's just it's just creativity and fun, and that is just us and our staff.
Right.
Was there a
then the-
creative? I was just saying, was there a creative one that you came up with that just like took off way more than you expected it to?
Tell the people about Fluffer Nutter Butter.
Well, you tell them. That's your
So
favorite.
I hadn't been creative in a while. I used to make ice cream a lot more than I make it now. I'm very slow, so I hardly ever make it. So I hadn't made a new flavor. And as a kid, I loved Nutter Butter, Fluffer Nutter sandwiches. And I love peanut butter is my favorite thing in the world. So I was like, let's try to make a Fluffer Nutter, but then Nutter Butter cookies are my favorite cookies. So I was like, and let's add those for texture. And so we created this Fluffer Nutter Butter. It's a peanut butter marshmallow ice cream with peanut butter sauce and marshmallow sauce and Nutter Butter cookies.
Ooh.
And the first time I took a bite, I was like, I've done it. Like, I've perfected ice cream. Like, it really is the best ice cream I've ever had. And before Fluffer Nutter Butter, I would have said a different ice cream in Brooklyn was my favorite ice cream ever. But
Lame. That's not even our ice cream. You can't say that.
yeah, but it was good. But now Fluffer Nutter is better than that. It's the best ice cream we've ever made.
I really like salty and sweet. So we made one this year with it's a cookie. People call it Christmas crack. Some people call them toffee bars, but it's like a club
yeah.
cracker with a caramel and chocolate on it. And
Sea
so,
salt.
yeah, and I love chocolate covered pretzels. It's like very similar. And so we put that in an ice cream, and that one's delicious too. That's in the advent calendar also. So
With the advent calendar, I'm sure that was like super expensive to do, right? Because it would be such small runs for each individual
oh my
one.
gosh, it
was-
was insane.
It was pretty wild. Like, and we ended up
Sorry,
having
Sydney.
to cap the orders. But, you know, so that was a perfect example of from from idea to execution. So it's like, all right, it'll be cool. Like we'll just do 24 different flavors and people can order it and then there'll be a list. Mm-hmm. And that's like how it started. And then you think, okay, so if there's 24 flavors and 100 people order it, that's 2,400 cups of ice cream that need to be made, packaged, lidded, stored, separated. And then we had a list. And at first it was just all 24 flavors listed. And I'm like, but that's not how an advent calendar works. Like an advent calendar is a surprise.
Yes.
So we found this company that does lottery tickets and they do scratch offs. So on like November 1st, I was like, hey, can you get these like to me by November 20th? And they're like, yeah. So we have this 8.5 by 11 sheet. Mm-hmm. All 24 flavors are scratched off. Oh, so it's like a surprise each time. Nice. And then making the flavors. And I mean, it was chaos.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing our staff doesn't necessarily always love us for. We have these wild ideas, and a lot of times, like, we're under the gun time-wise, but we really want to execute. So we're like, hey, we have this great idea. They're like, oh, yeah, when do you need to buy? We're like, oh, like next week. They're like, okay. So.
But it is December. There's no way we could have done this in July. Right. But it really is like it's a nice way to keep revenue in December where it's really, really difficult.
Right.
So 2 things. Did the advent calendar work well enough for you to bring it out next year?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, good. I had to get my wife a Gilmore Girl advent calendar this year so I can get the Boombalattis one next year. Got to balance it. Secondly, you mentioned December. It is kind of cold right now when we're recording. Cold. It's like 30 degrees outside, or it was last night.
Yeah.
What do y'all do in the cold months? Like, how do you stay busy? Like, what are things that you guys do to keep the lights on?
The one nice thing I think for ice cream shops in the winter is that's when all the food-related holidays are. And there's a lot of ice cream shops that'll close like shortly after Labor Day and open up a little bit before Memorial Day. So if you do that, you miss Halloween, where we do a bunch of like candy-inspired flavors. Right. Thanksgiving, we did this dessert thing that we talked about. December is some of our favorite, peppermint stick and gingerbread and eggnog and hot cocoa and Christmas tree, which is Christmas tree cakes.
And we also do pies and cakes. So we do custom cakes and pies that, we're doing pumpkin pie, ice cream pies. We did a chocolate chip pumpkin cake. And so a lot of people like to take those like to different family gatherings, because it's something different than just the normal whatever you would bring. So we really try to pump those around the holiday, those types of orders and whatnot. But lucky for us, it is Wilmington. I mean, and you could have a 35-degree night, and then 2 days later it's 75 and sunny, which is why we moved here from the dreaded Pennsylvania winter.
It's true.
What part of PA?
Well, he's from Williamsport, and I'm from Pittsburgh, near Pittsburgh. So
okay, my family's actually from Williamsport. I grew up in Lancaster County, though.
From Williamsport, really? Your family?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's wild.
Yeah, crazy.
It's cold.
I was like, no way. Yeah.
Really cold up there in the winter.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people from PA.
There is.
That we've interviewed that moved here.
Yeah.
Which is very
It seems like Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, there's a lot of New York and New Jersey that for some reason go all the way to South Carolina. And we've noticed that North Carolina is pretty big in Pennsylvania. I don't know why.
PA and Ohio.
In Ohio, yeah. So it's like.
But, I mean, that's funny that you're saying PA because a lot of people who are not from PA, you don't call it that if you're not from there. Most people don't say
I think he's hung out with me long enough.
What do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's like an insider trade.
Right.
Because you wouldn't say, I'm from NY.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But
You say I'm from PA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I also know people who are from New York, and I look and I'm like, where in New York?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I'm from upstate. And I'm like,
that's the majority of the state.
That's like everything but New York, the island.
I feel like if you're not from New York area around Jersey, you're from upstate.
Yes.
Right,
like,
pretty
that's
much.
the only choices.
No, we joke because Thaddeus has been on, and it's like as soon as you cross over, it's like, no, it's all upstate.
Right.
As soon as you get out of that tunnel, you're in upstate New York.
Yeah, well, I went to college in Erie.
Rochester?
Right. I went to college in Erie, and Buffalo's like 2 hours from there, and that's like snow belt up there. I mean, I'm talking like this much snow.
Nope.
And yeah, I don't want to run an ice cream shop there in the winter, but here it's so, seasonal that you get really beautiful days. Like a couple years ago, we were looking at our numbers for February. We were like, what the hell was happening last February? Why are the numbers so high? Well, we realized it was like 85, like 3 different weekends on a Saturday. That's insane.
I knew this February our numbers were going to be down, and it still crushed me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last February, I was like, there's no way next February is going to be like this. And I was like, we're down like 12%. We're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, no, last February is 80 degrees every weekend.
Yes.
Right.
I remember
That's
that.
crazy.
Yep. It was wild. It was great for us.
I mean, you guys do such a great job with the flavors that I don't know why we do this, but I'm pretty sure we go to Boombalattis more during the winter because we love the winter flavors so much.
I love it.
That like we're there like every weekend anyway, because like, especially like the peppermint and stuff like that, like you guys just like hit it out of the park.
Well, thank you.
People are like calling the shop literally and texting us in like August about peppermint stick. And I'm like, this is Starbucks' fault. They're putting out like, pumpkin spice latte in freaking July or something stupid. And now everybody wants peppermint stick ice cream in August. I'm like, that's not how it works.
When it's 101.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait.
It is truly, I blame retail. Because I've been in retail 17 years now. And they shift, like every year it's like a week earlier or like a couple days earlier. Because I worked at Bath & Body Works in like early 2000s.
Oh, gosh.
And I remember.
I'm sorry for you.
I survived, which is why we don't have a lot of smellies in my house from working there. But I remember as soon as 4th of July hit, it's like, oh, hey, it was 4th of July. And I look up,
pumpkins.
And next it's like pumpkins. I'm like, it's August 2nd. Why are we putting pumpkins out?
It's crazy.
Like, consumers are ready to buy. Like, all right.
Yeah. And then you're done with.
Well, now it's crazy because you'll go to a store on October 20th, and Halloween is like 90% off. And you're like, it's not even Halloween yet.
No.
Like, no, nobody cares about Halloween. It's all about Thanksgiving. And you're like, okay.
All right.
I mean, I remember last year there was something that I wanted to wrap for our kids a certain way, or I had forgotten something, and I literally went to Walmart. It was Christmas Eve. I think I'd taken my mom home after dinner or something, and I stopped there because I needed something. I cannot remember what it was at the time. And they were shifting the aisles. The employees were shifting to Valentine's Day, and I was like, no. I was like, it's Christmas Eve.
We're not there yet.
I cannot do this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that happened to me last year too, because I needed to get we ran out of wrapping paper. And so I went to Walmart to get wrapping paper, and they were like taking all of the Christmas stuff down. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. Like,
that's why Boombalattis is ready to announce our April flavors come out tomorrow.
Right.
No, but actually, I think that was like a double-ended question, and we got off on this tangent about flavors, but I think you did ask about marketing, like at the beginning
we
of
don't want
this
to shout
too.
some people out.
Yeah. So marketing is a big deal in the off season too. That's being on like social media and pushing the Christmas flavors and all that stuff is definitely. We joke because we have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they're like always on us about what the trends are. But our one daughter, she's like, but like, Mom, if I tell you should do it, you have to do it like now, not in 2 weeks, because then it won't be a trend
trends
anymore.
are so fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay.
Like, we know who our audience is, and so that's who we target, which is women on Instagram, like women 28 to 44. Like, I don't know why, but so I will do things on purpose. I mean, I didn't want to say that, but but the other day, earlier, a 15-year-old literally said, and she wasn't joking. She was like, I'm asking you this, like, legitimately. I was like, okay, yeah, you can ask whatever you want. Do people think this is funny? I was just like, oh my gosh, wow.
Sick burn.
Just let me bleed out, right?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, yes. People who are not 15 think this is funny. Thank you for asking, Airly. But we do have help. Matt Ray, who's been on your podcast, he's our photographer. He's the best in the game by far. I mean, he's the best in the state. So he does all of our photography.
Just in the state, Matt. Did you hear that?
Get us into our state magazine, Matt. It's an inside joke with him and I. It's not really inside anymore. I don't know why we can't get into that magazine. But he shoots for them. And
I was going to say, I've seen
we've seen it
few times.
It's just like we don't exist to them. Us and End of Days, and we don't know why.
Right.
But then we've got Brave Creative is helping us with the short form video because that's not, like, I didn't grow up on TikTok. Like, and to me, that's really important to realize where your expertise stops. And I could be on TikTok, but it wouldn't work. So we've got them, and then we've got Jenny Yarborough that helps us with like web stuff and some of our bigger campaigns. We did this big Christmas photo shoot that's just getting ready to launch, where we rented a historic bungalow in the cargo district and decorated in August and shot all of our flavors, and it was so much fun because that's my favorite time of year.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bought a tuxedo on Amazon, which is also renting. It's back at Amazon now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the only men I know that loves Christmas more than most of my friends do. which is nice because you know some guys are like, oh gosh, we have to do this, but he's in it.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you staying on the marketing path is the stuff to Stanley that you did a while back. Was that as big as like everyone was talking about? Because because like my wife definitely got in on it, and she like brought like 5 like of her girlfriends with her, and I was like, that's huge. So like, did it actually like pan out like what you expected it to, or better?
Way better than we expected it to. I didn't think it was going to do well, and
we thought it was going to do well.
I thought it was going to do fine. So I wasn't even in town for it.
Yeah,
I was actually
nice.
Actually at the Ice Cream Association meeting because I'm on the board now. So I was at a board meeting in Savannah, Georgia, the day we were having that, watching the numbers, and we did it on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Wednesday in February. It continues to be the best day we've ever had revenue-wise.
In 9 years.
Wednesday in February, and it was rainy.
It was cold and rainy. Yeah.
It was insanity. I mean, if a fire marshal would have walked in, like they would have shut it down. We had hundreds of people in line. Like the line was just.
We had a line from 4 o'clock at the forum until close. So from 4 to 10 p.m. there was a line, and I thought we were going to be busy. And they said, "Hey, we're really busy. If anyone can come in and help, like on the chat board for the employees, please come." And my kids really wanted to go do it and take their friends. So I bring them and like 4 of their friends over, and I walked in and I was like, "Oh dear God, why'd I come in? I'm going to have to help now. Now I'm going to have to help." And for like, we were there for almost 2 hours. My kids were getting so annoyed with me. And it was like, you know what, at this point, I could work for 4 more hours. I'm not going to dig them out of this hole. Yeah. There's going to be a line. Like, no matter if and we were starting to get counterproductive. There were too many people behind the counter. Yeah. But it was insane.
I think we did.
Insane.
That's crazy.
1,200 Stanleys in 10 hours or something like that. And it's 5 scoops each.
Yeah. And you have to like, you can't just touch the Stanley. You have to be sanitary. You had to have like this cup ring that goes in the cup so you're not touching other people's dishes and whatnot. Okay. So you had to wash the rings, put the ring in, scoop the ice cream. It was like this.
Remember 5 flavors in your head.
Yeah, this process. Yeah, but it was great. It was a great thing to do to boost, business. There's actually a lot of other ice cream shops that have done it now, and they've all said the same thing because we're on the board that he was talking about. People post ideas on there. Yeah.
It was.
I love that.
Pure chaos, and I wasn't there. I was being wined and dined at the Pink Room in Savannah.
Oh yeah.
I was busting my tail in there.
See, so you talk about being on the ice cream board. For those who are who just in the know,
there's an ice cream board.
Yes,
that's what I did.
What is that?
So it's the North American Ice Cream Association, and we found out it existed in 2017.
Tell them why.
Because we wanted to take a vacation and use the work card. Yeah. And somebody was like, "You need to find a conference." And like, we were such idiots that I was like, "What is a conference?" And like, "Oh, you idiot!"
Like an ice cream conference.
And so we started. It was 2019, and that year it was in Charleston.
Okay.
And you have to buy tickets for it. And if you're not a member, I'm going to just butcher the numbers, but if you're not a member, the ticket is $500 extra. But by the way, it's only $495 to become a member. So it was just like,
it's a good incentive.
Okay, so why would I not? And then I need a second ticket, so I'll save more. Right. So we become members. We go to Charleston, and then 2020 hits, so we don't go 2020 or 2021. 2022, we go to Fort Worth, Texas. 2023, we went to Las Vegas, and that's when we started submitting our ice cream for testing and started winning blue ribbons.
Right, but he didn't ask you to brag about the work trip vacation.
Oh, we're going to brag.
I was going to say, take advantage of it.
He asked you what the board was.
So I got asked to do a session. You do these like leadership sessions. Actually, I asked to do a session on merch because we sell a lot of merch. It's one of my favorite things. Yes. And it was on the list of sessions they were going to have. So I actually emailed the person like, "Dear sir or ma'am, who is doing the merch? Can I help?" And he calls. And he's like, "You want to do it?" I was like, "I'll help." He's like, "No, you can do it. Like, you can do the whole session."
You're like, "Oh."
And I found out afterwards they pick what they want to do, and then they fill in the gaps. So they had nobody to do the session. Okay. So I did it. I did a session the way that I would want to do it. So it was funny. It was upbeat. And everybody was like, "This is the best session." So they were like, "You need to be on the board."
I was in the session, and then we had a couple of employees that were next door. There were 2 sessions going on at one time. Yeah. And they were like, we could hear everybody laughing and like, whatever. That's in your room so much that people started getting up, leaving, and coming in there to get in on that session instead.
And that other session was one of the best ice cream shops in the country right now. And I'm not going to name them.
Wow.
But yeah, so they asked me to be on the board, and so we have monthly meetings. I'm on the marketing team. And so this is all internal. So it's ways to market to ice cream shops. Like, what can we do to help them, help them market their shops, give them creative ideas.
Yeah, so we all go sit around and brainstorm, what's the new up-and-coming trend, or how can we grow our business, or where are you getting this? What supplier are you using? A bunch of different suppliers come and bring all their
wares.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody bring any whiskey to these conferences?
No, but all the vanilla is just, like 90% alcohol. So,
I was going to say, isn't it?
Madagascar bourbon vanilla. So here's a fun fact. So that, bourbon is the type of bean. So Madagascar bourbon vanilla is that bean grown in Madagascar.
Okay.
It caused so much confusion that people thought it was bourbon. Oh. So they wouldn't get Madagascar. So you were supposed to say it's Madagascar bourbon because that's the name of the bean. But then people would be like, well, I don't drink, so I'm not going to get your vanilla. So now they've changed in the U.S. They've changed the way that you have to. So now it's just Madagascar vanilla, which I thought was funny. They were like, okay, you don't have to say bourbon anymore because people are confused, and we'll still consider it correct labeling.
Right. That's crazy.
Well, why wouldn't people just mix in some bourbon with it?
I think we should try.
So with
Eggnog
that being
soon.
said,
actually,
let's just jump on into this.
I had two reasons to ask that question. One, you did bring the super awesome carrier.
The new Boombalattis pint cooler.
Yes.
Which leads me to.
Oh yeah.
How'd you come up with that concept? Was it we have a need, we need to go through it?
I don't have nails. There you go.
There we go.
So we actually found these at the Fort Worth, Texas Ice Cream Conference.
Cool.
Yep.
So, and the ice cream is still pretty solid. It's been in
Frozen
here.
cold.
I just realized I didn't have the lid on tight.
It's like a little mini Yeti.
So you could put a pint in there, take it to the beach, sit there for 2 hours, come out of the water, grab your ice cream, and it'll still be melted.
Yeah, if you want to feel the inside of there, it's like igloo style.
It's your Yeti or your Stanley or whatever. But I'll take the first bite just to prove that it's not poisonous.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, look at that. Look at that scooping consistency right there.
Oh, yeah,
so because it is Christmas season, we're doing the eggnog flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's the only flavor that we do put whiskey and wisdom into.
From End of Days.
I was going to say, and where's it from? End of Days, right?
So we did a partnership with End of Days, so they provide us all the bourbon.
Wait, you gave me a your size bite.
No, I'll take the second half of yours.
I would take it.
And the one thing that we've learned
that's good.
is so many people have not had real eggnog. And real eggnog is so good. Mm-hmm. And it's basically what your ice cream would be before you blend it, before you churn it.
Churn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a custard, and it's egg yolk, heavy whipping cream, at least what I make, heavy cream, half and half, dairy, sugar, bourbon.
And sometimes you put sherry or brandy in it.
And brandy.
Okay.
So for this one, we just did the bourbon from End of Days,
and fresh grated nutmeg.
And yes.
I can say so.
So it's not like that gas station super sweet.
Have either of you guys ever
thickeners in it.
Have either of you guys ever made eggnog from scratch?
From scratch?
Yeah.
I haven't made it, but I've had it.
Okay, yeah. It's just so different, and
you can make it a year ahead of time, and you don't have to worry about it because there's the alcohol
The
level
alcohol.
is so high it would kill anything that's in it.
tell them your fun fact about.
Fun fact. So the reason that eggnog exists is because only rich people had a lot of eggs back in the day, because chickens only laid eggs when the sun was up, summer months. Right. And so they were so wealthy, they had this glut of eggs. So what are you going to do with it? So they started making eggnog with it. And that was basically the way to cellar eggs without them going bad.
And then they would pull it out around the holidays and be like, "Oh, look at us, we're
you
rich
guys
and
don't
fancy."
have eggs?
Here
We
you
do.
go.
And that's how eggnog became a thing.
It will get you though. If you're making real eggnog at home, disclaimer, it is strong.
33% booze.
Yeah.
I've only had eggnog that I remember once.
Oh.
I love eggnog.
No, I'm just a Southern boy who doesn't drink eggnog, I guess.
Yeah.
But my friend, I went over to their house, I don't know, I guess Christmas one year, and her dad was like, "Oh, you want some eggnog?" I was like, "I don't know what this is." And he pulls it out, and it was the Jack Daniels
Oh,
pre-mixed.
right.
So this definitely tastes better.
Yeah, thank God.
So much. I could
smooth.
taste the bourbon, I can taste the alcohol as when you drink a good whiskey or a good bourbon, like you can taste the flavors, but it doesn't like put you on your butt. This has that same feeling.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's like real like warm on the finish. I feel like even though it's ice cream. Yeah.
Which we're really happy with it.
So good.
It's delicious.
And it looks beautiful. Look at that.
Is there an alcohol content in it?
It is, but it's pretty minimal. It's I believe in North Carolina it has to be under 5%, and it is. So
it's one of those things.
You'd have to eat a lot of it for it to mess with you, and by then it would just be the dairy that was messing with you.
I was going to say, you'd probably get sick before it.
Yeah, we do have a disclaimer on it, on the case, because some people don't want their kids. First of all, a lot of kids are not going to like that flavor. It's a kind of an acquired taste. Sure. Yeah. So we don't want them to buy something they don't like. And also, some parents don't want their kids having anything that has alcohol in it, understandably. So we always say, when a kid orders it, just a heads up, it does actually have bourbon in it. Because a lot of people, if the fake eggnog, you can buy at the store, there's no real alcohol. It's just like flavoring in there,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And people will still give it to their kids, and their kids are like, this is delicious. I'm like, there's 24 flavors, and you made your kid get the one with bourbon in it.
Or sometimes the kids are like, no, I don't want that. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yes. Makes sense.
So, talking about flavors, you mentioned that you're from PA. Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I remember someone else mentioned that a while ago. They were like, oh, are you from PA? And I'm like, no, that's what my friend calls it, so that's why I assume what it was called. But pecan or pecan?
Well, that's funny. We were just talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm freaky. I say, I gotta think about it. I say butter pecan and pecan pie.
Okay.
I do the same thing.
Right? So it's a weird thing where it's like it depends on what the context is.
Mm-hmm.
I think because growing up, everybody loved butter pecan ice cream in the North, and that's what they said, butter pecan.
Yeah.
But then when we moved here, everybody was making pecan pie. And
must be it, yeah.
they just said pecan pie all the time. And so it was like, or like it's the same thing as when we moved here, there was a gentleman next to me in the store, and he was an older gentleman, and he was like, we're going to do it on the 4th of July. And I was like, what did he just say? I was like, oh, 4th of July. But that's a very Southern July, like the pronunciation or insurance.
Right, adding the extra syllables.
Yeah, like pecan, insurance, like.
Then we talk about like cur and car and topsail and topsail and all those weird words.
Yeah.
What do you guys say, pecan or pecan?
Oh, I say pecan.
For everything,
Pecan.
just pecan.
Yeah.
You say butter pecan?
Yeah, it really depends on what I'm saying, too.
I don't
change
say
it
butter
up.
pecan. Like, I don't say it. So
I've never said the word.
Say it. I don't have to.
I'm like, every time I see that flavor, I'm like, someone over 55 is going to order that.
Yeah. That's.
It is funny when some of the older generation come in. We have our flavors on the wall, and then we have the flavors on the case, and they'll just order. Be like, we have butter pecan now because it got ordered so much that we finally gave in and we make it, and it's delicious. But they would just be like, butter pecan. We'd be like, oh, actually, we don't have that. Rum raisin. Like, we don't have that one either. Like, pralines and cream. Like, just read the board.
Yeah.
By the 3rd or 4th time that you're like, yeah, we still don't have it. How's like cookie dough?
Pralines is one of my favorites, though.
Pralines is good.
Pralines and cream. A lot of Southern people really like that flavor. I never had that growing up in the North. We didn't have pralines and cream.
It's definitely like, there's something about it. Like we were saying, like a pecan.
It's the buttered,
the butteriness of the.
It's like
toffee.
a toffee too. Yeah.
Yeah, like almost like a caramelized sugar around the pecan. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would that not be better? Honestly.
We used to do, when we first bought the shop, we did a flavor that was called turtles and cream. So it was pecans, caramel, and chocolate, and that was really good. But we didn't sell a ton of it, and it's that weird thing where, like, when you take one flavor out to put something else in, people riot, and
yes,
it's a whole
That's
thing.
how you figure out whose favorite flavor was
actually that one.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we ended up selling a lot of turtles and cream because we didn't have butter pecan, is what we figued out. So they would ask for butter pecan, we would mention turtles and cream, and they would get it and be like, it was fine. I wish it was butter pecan. And we're like, all right. Let's just take it out.
Wasn't going to win that one.
We still, years later. And what's funny is, like, we know we're never bringing it back. Like, butter pecan is here to stay. We're not bringing back and people will be like, oh, still no turtles and cream. One day I'm going to come in and it's going to be here. And we're just like,
no, probably not.
No, it's not.
Is there one that you have taken away and you just had, like, so much backlash? You're like, all right, fine, here you go.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites.
Chocolate peanut butter?
Chocolate peanut butter.
Oh, no way.
Chocolate peanut butter ripple we took out to put in Fluffer Nutter butter.
I do remember that.
And then we finally brought it back in October.
I think so, maybe.
To retest and see how it did, and now it's going to come back permanently.
But it's a chocolate base, so it's chocolate with peanut butter and fudge rippled through it.
Okay. So you'll have them both then?
We will have them both. I don't know why in my head I felt like we could only have one peanut butter flavor, but that was, and that was just an example of just making like a quick off the cuff. Oh, take that one out, put that one in, and everybody will be happy. And it's like,
is it because you like chocolate so much that you're like, we only have one peanut butter, we have like 4 chocolate flavors?
I mean, I love chocolate. Like I told you right before we started, I don't really like dessert unless it's not chocolate. It's chocolate. Unless it is chocolate. If it's not, He's always trying to order like bread pudding and apple stuff when we go to a restaurant. I'm like, we're getting the chocolate torte. Like, that's the only option.
You're talking about.
Yes.
And then somehow they accidentally, Kristen didn't listen, and they brought out 2 desserts. And I'm like, I didn't order 2 desserts. That's like, weird.
We get pot de creme.
Oh.
That was one of our favorite desserts we've ever had.
One of the best desserts I've ever had.
If there was a way to make that into an ice cream,
that would be good.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Second class,
I would buy
coffee pot de creme. It was
of those.
Best
Fortunate glass.
Fortunate glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I've never had it since.
They used to do a pot de creme. But that's got like brulee. I forget.
I have no idea what's.
We got to research it.
Yeah, it's like a custard, I think, with brulee something on the top of it.
Right.
I mean, we have a ton of your ice cream anyways, but every time we go somewhere that has pot de creme, I'm buying it for my wife. Just, you got to make her happy.
So what are you guys' favorite flavors that we have? All of them?
Go ahead, Tyler.
I think I get something new every single time.
Oh,
like,
that's
if there's
awesome.
something that's new there, I'm most likely
like
probably
the
going to
new.
get it. Yeah.
Like,
The Mocha Oreo is the one that like me and my wife just like typically always go to. Like if we're gonna buy like a pint, like that's what it's gonna be because we both love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I go in, it's like what's new on the board today.
Yes.
Right. I feel like that flavor, coffee, cookies, and cream, which is what we changed it to now, but is like a cult classic. If you ask people, that's one of the ones that across the board everybody will say is their favorite. Our it's like
staff loves
probably our staff favorite. Yeah.
it is so good.
That's right. Yeah, we still call it that, and I even remember that you had like a post about it.
Yeah.
That way you couldn't call it that.
Right.
And
So,
now we just went to a session, and supposedly we could have, is what they said.
Yeah, but
But it's too late now. We did
have-
not want to make the pints and then have whoever it is, Mondelez, be like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to fight that lawsuit.
Nope.
No, thank you.
Okay.
There is no fighting it. You just say.
Yeah, you just-
yes.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry.
Let me get those stickers.
My favorite flavors.
As he researches.
No, I forget names until I'm right in front of the case. And I'm like, oh, that one. So the cinnamon caramel oatmeal cookie, when that came in, I was like, yes, I found my flavor.
It's on our varsity squad.
Yeah.
Yes. That one, the pecan pie, I had that. We were talking about this, and I was so heartbroken because it was. I always fall in love with your seasonal, and then it's like, yeah, it's done.
Pecan pie will be in pints for a while.
Okay, so
You know
then
why?
I can.
Because we have 10,000 of them.
3,000 of them.
Oh wow.
And
So-
if you don't find it at the downtown shop, the Forum probably will have it because they have more of the overrun.
Space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So that means I'm going to have 12 pints in my fridge.
You need one of those garage freezers for like the deer meat. Just clear out
yeah.
the deer meat, and it's just Boombalattis ice cream.
I mean, I have a second freezer.
Right. So you're prepared.
We had a fridge while we were waiting on our new one to show up when we bought our house, and it became the fridge for all of our backup ice cream.
Nice.
I
I support that.
Yeah.
So when Fluffer Nutter Butter came out originally, we had it stocked because I didn't know if it was going to last.
That's so
It'll
funny.
be there forever.
Yes, and
Finally
that tells
found
you.
someone that loves ice cream as much as you.
Yeah, I'm a big boy.
You guys
If
could
can't
probably
tell.
really get along because between ice cream and burgers,
Yeah.
like
Ooh.
this
And
is
bourbon?
your guy. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just did the Grimburger episode, and they're in the forum now.
Yes.
I know it's dangerous.
Dangerous. It is very dangerous.
We both work right
Been
across
there
the street.
4 times.
You can smell it when you walk out of our shop, too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
I mean, if you guys ever want to start a service industry podcast, I know somebody with some equipment. I'm down to help you.
that'd be good.
As long as I get to try some of the food while we're going around.
Well, one thing fun, so talking about Fluffer Nutter Butter and Grimburger, and we haven't really finalized this, but we just did our first beer collaboration with Mad Mole.
I saw that.
Oh yeah.
So Fluffer Molar Butter. So it's a pastry stout. It's around 9%, but it's got vanilla ice cream, peanut butter, and marshmallows in it, and it came out really well. They just launched it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And I think Grimberger, we're going to try to do something like a beer milk. He can order the beer because we can't sell the beer, which is kind of weird. That we did a collab, but we can't sell it. So we're going to try to do something at Grimberger, like a burger and milkshake kind of a thing.
Nice. Oh, sweet.
I still want to make that smoky s'mores flavor for them.
Yeah, we should do that too. Ooh. Kristen's going to get on their dessert menu.
Yeah.
Forget Pie Slayer.
We
love.
Yeah, we do love
If y'all do a collab, you and Pie Slayer?
We did
We've
do a
done a couple,
short-lived.
yeah.
They did a birthday pie that had our birthday cake in it.
Our birthday cake ice cream.
Yeah, we got to get back on that.
Yeah.
See? All these ideas. But because you asked me my favorite flavor, and you talked about Fluffernutter butter being yours, that totally steps away from the fact that you guys won some ice cream awards.
Oh, true that.
We did win some awards, yes. So part of this ConeCon, which is the convention that was just in Savannah, you can submit, you have to pay to submit your ice cream to be tested, like a sensory panel. It goes to Cornell University's food science team.
Oh, wow.
And it's a full score sheet. It's bacteria count, it's flavor, it's meltability, it's color, it's all these things. And you can submit a max of 2 per category. And we were the only shop in North America that submitted 2 chocolates. We're the only one to get 2 blue ribbons from it. So Cornell tasted it, and they have 6 testers per flavor, and we got 2 blue ribbons. Yeah. And so I just listened to a podcast with the guy from Cornell, and he's like, what you want to be able to say is this measures your ability to make clean ice cream. So if you get a blue ribbon on chocolate, that basically means what you make is clean. So everything you're doing is correct. So super
by
important.
Industry standards.
And for us, bacteria count is one of the things that they measure. So to have the score there and know that that's, you're acing that, super, super important. But it was neat because until last year was the first time we submitted. We got a blue ribbon. We got 1 blue ribbon last year. But until that, we knew that we loved our ice cream, but we had no idea how it would score on a panel. So it was really nice. And then last year in Vegas, we also had a 3rd place finish in non-dairy ice cream, and that's more of a popularity contest. So it's a blind tasting. When you go to the convention, you get to taste. I think it was 145 regular flavors this year, and 55 non-dairy flavors.
That's a lot.
And you taste them, and you vote for your 5 favorites. And so we came in 3rd last year. We did not place this year, so I'm expecting a vote recount, but
yeah,
next year we're going to be back. But that was pretty neat. So last year we came back, and we had a popularity award and a science award.
Which you didn't say, we won for vegan s'mores, which is really delicious. And vegan ice cream is a lot more difficult to make delicious because you don't have any of that animal fat in there, making it so, creamy and delicious. So it's a whole different beast trying to make vegan flavors that all the vegan people like, and you're not just killing yourself over how intense they are to make. So. And
the category is non-dairy, so a lot of the flavors had egg in them, which is an emulsifier.
Right.
So ours did not. So not only did we place in a non-dairy category, but we did it without egg as well.
Also, a lot of vegan people get frustrated because most ice cream shops just want to give them sorbet, instead of an actual creamy ice cream. So
we have 8 vegan flavors every day at all of our shops.
Yes.
Which we appreciate because my kids have a lot of allergies, so we can still take the kids and bring them over there, and then you still have something to eat.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's why everything is vegan. A lot of times we'll be like, can you make a vegan chocolate with your regular brownies in it? And it's no, because we want people with allergies to know that this case does not include any egg or any milk in any product.
Yeah, but, I was going to say some of them do have gluten in them, though.
Gluten, yeah, but not.
Yeah. Right.
If you are, and they're in their own case. So if you have an egg allergy, you know that nothing in that case has ever touched eggs. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. So we kind of talked about the holiday flavors you have coming up. A lot of our listeners, for some reason, like to batch what they listen to at the end of the month. So for our listeners that decide to do that, what flavors do they have to look forward to since they didn't listen in time and missed out on holiday flavors?
So if it's December 31st and they're listening,
I was going to say
January is our big snowy month in Wilmington.
AKA it might snow every 7 years.
Yeah, so it's our snow series comes out. So we do, I gotta remember, Snowball,
yes.
Right? SNO. But so that's it's Hostess.
Yeah, they're those
the pink one?
big
chocolate cake, marshmallow.
Yeah, they're like an orb.
Coconut.
Yeah.
Whatever they are. So we do Snowball.
my favorite Little Debbie growing up. My mom was addicted to them. We always had them. I love them.
Everybody knows that Swiss cake rolls are the best.
Yep.
No, wrong.
Number 2 is Ants and Snow. Sweet cream ice cream, marshmallows, and chocolate sprinkles.
All the kids love that one.
Cranberry Fluff, which is sort of, I feel like every year it's the least popular of the 4, and it is so good. Cranberry Fluff is just so good. So that's marshmallow, cranberry.
I wanted to really make this ice cream because my grandmother made this salad growing up every Christmas. She called it angel salad. I'm not sure why, but it was, you put cranberries in a food processor, pineapple, and then you mix it with heavy whipping cream. You make a whipped cream and marshmallows, miniature marshmallows, and you whip it all together, and it becomes this like fluffy little fun salad. So I really wanted to make it into an ice cream. So we did that last year, and it is really good.
It's really good. It deserves more credit, everybody.
It does.
And then we do a spiced citrus sorbet, since technically citrus is a winter fruit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that one just happens to be vegan as well. So those are the 4 that usually come out in January.
Right, and the citrus sorbet is delicious if you put it in a mimosa.
Ooh.
Yeah, one little scoop of that and some champagne. Yes.
I do like that citrus sorbet, though. That is good.
Yeah.
I think that one's got, do we have clove in there?
Yeah, it's just got a little bit of winter, like mulling spices in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're slightly over time.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 questions. One, when are you guys moving to Leland? I'm just messing with you. For those who didn't hear to the very beginning.
Don't say soon.
Oh, just kidding.
On the radar,
yes.
But no plans in motion yet.
So for people who don't understand, it's not a quick thing to find a location that's good for your business, can hold all the traffic that you're going to get out there. So it's on the radar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Cool.
Be patient.
Which leads into my actual question of owning this business and seeing all the growth. What does success look like for you guys?
That's a great question. We talked about this because we knew you were probably going to ask us.
Yes, you prepared.
Our answers are probably very different. Go ahead. You go first, and then I'll say what you said that's wrong. No, just kidding.
I would say, if I'm being honest, I feel like I have found success. Like, I worked 12 years at a job that I hated, like literally like refreshing my 401k. Like, that's the only reason I'm still here, is one day there'll be enough money in here that I can leave and then take this big risk that could have not turned out at all. And now we're 9 years in. I would say that we've been successful. I like going to work. I like the people I work with. Our staff is amazing. Customers are great. Like, it literally is living the dream for me. I would say, from a business standpoint, what success continues to look like is I want our best employees to be able to grow with the business. And I know that that means money in their pocket, benefits, like wanting to go to work as well. And so part of our growth strategy is we need to improve, we have to increase our revenues, because then we can pay that out. So when we add a 401k and we add health insurance and all these things, like, a lot of people don't understand, like, that's very costly from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. Like, we basically pay half of your health insurance. Even if you don't go, like, we pay thousands of dollars a month. So we have to just be able to bring in the money so we can pay that out. And so I want our employees to be able to grow with the company, so the company has to grow for that. So that's my business success. Personal success, I've hit it.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely. I mean, we said earlier when we first bought it, that first couple of summers, it'd be like, oh, wow, this is great. We really hated those other jobs. We're loving this. It's awesome some days. But then it's like having a newborn baby. Like, some weekends it'd be like, we can't do this. We don't know what we're doing. Why do we think this is a good idea? And so now our conversations, our conversations have become now like, this is amazing. We're growing. People want to buy the ice cream. The brand has become something, like, we joke that a lot of people can have good products. You can go in and buy a product. And you're like, oh, that was good. But you have to also, I feel like, to stay relevant to, like, this generation, sell a whole experience. And so that's what we've tried to do with Boombalattis. But then we joke that, oh, this is great, we're succeeding and there's money in the bank and we can give our staff all these things. But the more we grow, the more then we have to pivot and figure out, like, how to do different things. Oh, now we need to move our girl who was making ice cream at 16 into, like, an operations director. What does that even mean? There's, like, all these great things that are happening, but also then it creates, us needing to continue to grow our business management resources, not just our production, so it's a lot. But I would say we were more successful than we had anticipated when we bought the shop. We've really enjoyed it, and we never wanted to grow too fast, like I said earlier, where we jeopardize our family or our personal relationship. So everybody's kind of always saying, you should franchise or you should do this. And we're like, we kind of are enjoying the slow growth.
Yeah. I mean, franchise is nice, but
right.
I think you guys are doing a great job of quality control also.
Thank you. Yeah. That's the goal.
Right. So after looking forward a little bit, time to look back a little bit as well. So if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
You have to go first this time.
Take the risk. Take it. You only get one life. I mean,
finally she's going to start crying. This is the longest it's ever taken.
It's crazy. I mean, at the time, like I said, I didn't want to tell him to buy the shop, but, you know, you could spend a lot of your life working jobs you don't like, hanging out with people you don't like. I spent half my life trying to fit myself into a mold because my whole family was like, you got to go to college. You got to get a real job. You got to work 9 to 5. You know, that was like the American dream. But, like, I never really thought that my personality was cut out for that. But then I did it, and I'm like, it's surely not cut out for that. So, yeah, and we were young enough that we were like, if we buy the shop and it's terrible and we don't like it, we could always turn around and try to sell it. We could, you know, so.
Yeah, I had a corporate background, so I could have made that into a perfect interview answer.
Right.
Oh.
What is this 2-year gap in your resume? Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Right.
Let me tell you what I learned about failing. I would say looking back, I, for whatever reason, like spent a lot of time worrying about what other people thought of me. Like, especially in high school and college, like I skipped out on a lot of fun opportunities because, like, oh, it's like cringe to want to do like cool stuff. I was also a weird straight edge hardcore kid, and I just thought everybody was dumb.
You're still weird.
I'm still weird, but I care much less what other people think about me, except for when I'm marketing on Instagram. Then that's all I care about. That's what I would just do your thing, and if people think it's cool, great. If people think it's lame, who cares? And now that we have a 15 and 13-year-old, like, there's a lot of that. Like, it's, well, I can't wear the shoes I want to wear because what? And it's like, just wear the shoes you want to wear.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, man.
Fake it till you make it.
If you look good doing it, people will be like, that's cool. I should do that.
Yeah.
And just so your daughter knows, like, people do think you're funny on Instagram.
Yes.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
We need that in writing. That's going to be recorded for prosperity.
We'll clip it and send it to you.
Just wait till your kids get to be teenagers. They don't think anything you do is funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so ready to see my nieces and nephews turn into teenagers so I can be like, I'm the uncle to be like, yeah, you should have seen your dad when he was young.
Yeah.
But because we're at the end, and we have mentioned it a lot of times about your social media and everything, but how can people find you guys, follow your story, see all the awesome stuff that you're dropping?
I mean, Instagram is definitely our bread and butter. You got to spell Boombalattis right. It's 12 letters. It's a lot more letters than we really thought about. So spell it correctly. You'll find us. We are on TikTok now.
You want to spell it for the people?
I spelled it once on a podcast.
I know, that's why I asked
and I
you.
spelled it wrong.
So it's BOOMBALAT.
Nope. BLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you missed the A.
No, bro, he's trying to get me.
He was correct.
It's
Sorry.
BOOMBALATTIS.
Yes.
There you go.
Gotcha.
We
I'm
are
not
on
silly.
TikTok now doing like, we're not dancing, but we're doing a little stupid stuff. And then boombalattis.com. One other cool thing is we do ship ice cream now. So we have shipped our ice cream in what we call boom boxes. 32 states have ordered ice cream. So if you are listening to this podcast and you're like, that sounds delicious, I should get Fluff or Nutter Butter, go to boombalattis.com. We'll pack it up, ship it off to you.
Nice.
Also, if you like to see people get pied in the face, there is some of that on our social media where I repeatedly...
She pied me in the face. I had no idea why. Because Brave Creative thought it'd be funny. And it was. But the first time I was like, what is literally happening right now?
Because I just had the video running, like I was just filming at the house, and he was like looking around like, why is she filming but not telling me?
Yeah, I found the camera before she...
Oh.
I thought she thought I was like...
That's why I
cheating or
couldn't be an
something.
influencer. Like I was not very good at it, but I did get him good one time.
Yeah, so find that on TikTok.
Nice. I love it. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having
thanks
us.
for having us.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah,
Anytime I
it's
can
fun.
sip whiskey and talk wisdom, I'm here.
That's the way to do it.
I'm excited to see all the new flavors next year, or returning flavors, however it shows up, and all your growth. So good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those listening to the podcast or watching it, thank you guys. As per usual, like, comment, share, subscribe, and eat Boombalattis.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.